Because a doctor can do a heart surgery and save the life of that kid. And a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. According to a survey which was held to check the mindset of students, it was seen that the children of 5 to 6 years old could think more creatively and took more interest in the things than these teenagers who are with no passion and no interest. Now, I personally believe this is what our education has done to us. Within 5 to 6 years in this education system, these creative children have turned into these teenagers who are unwilling to think outside of the box. Schools can make you academically intelligent. I agree that, but it's killing your creative intelligence. I had faith in people that if we can upgrade phones, cars, and Facebook pages, it's our duty to do the same for education system, to upgrade it, to give equal chance to each and every student and bring spirit out of each and every student. Parents and teachers have power to influence and inspire our youth. Students may be 20% of our population, but they are 100% of our future. The main reason we go to school is to be able to solve problems and overcome obstacles in life. Is there anyone here who doesn't face obstacles in their life? Life is not a bed of roses, my friends. It comes with thorns too. So, the first part of that is collaboration. Schools should teach students to be collaborative than compete. But what happens right now? What we are doing? We are all trying to grab onto each other and get at the top. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who is at the top. Which matters the most is who learns the most. Schools should make sure that students are creative and collaborative. They share ideas with each other. Because when we share ideas with each other, these ideas become greater ideas. And that greater idea can solve a problem. When a child solves a problem, he gets a good feeling that he can actually do something. And when that good feeling comes into that child, true passion comes. And when true passion comes, the child can be unstoppable. Now, let me tell you something with the help of a story. So, a child was sitting in his classroom. A teacher came and asked, "What is the mass of an electron? Tell me." The child was sitting confused. Then why I have to memorize it if I can Google it anyway? The teacher got angry and said, "This is education system. You can't say anything about it." Time passes. 10 years later, the boy was grown up. He worked as an employee in a company. He went to his boss and asked, "Can I get an increment?" The boss said, "You are easily replaceable. The best I can do for you is 5% higher." The man was again sitting confused and asked the boss, "What makes you so irreplaceable?" The boss replied, "I have never stopped upskilling myself. After the college years, I have upgraded myself and learned in-demand skills. This is what makes me so irreplaceable." Now, what I want to convey you all is, never stop upgrading yourself. Think more creatively and adapt more skill. Be passionate about your future. Acquire skills outside the traditional educational settings and change the way you think. Because when you change the way you future. You can innovate and you can create. And remember the saying that no one has ever changed the world by doing what the world has told them to do. This is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priyanshu, for this insightful presentation. As you have mentioned in your presentation, what according to you are the current challenges and shortcomings in the education system that require upgrading?
The shortcomings and challenges that I think should be upgraded are outdated curriculum, inequality in education system, because so many students out right now feels that, and the standardized testing. I think these things should be upgraded to enhance our education system.
As you have mentioned about the upgradation, the first thing that comes to my mind is technology upgradation. So what are the best practices that you can adopt from other countries in our education system?
The best practices of us that have been successful in other countries and can be adopted by our education system to upgrade is, the first thing I want to mention is the Singapore math curriculum, as it enhances the creative thinking and critical thinking of a student. It helps in developing himself. The next one I want to discuss is the Japan's work ethic and discipline. The main focus is that it focuses on emphasizing the discipline and ethics in a student, which also helps them to develop a good study habit.
And how can you ensure equitable access to the quality education for all the students and regardless of their background?
We can ensure the equitable learning to each one of the students, regardless their background, is access to technology to each one of the students so that they can learn and they can grow. There should be an equitable funding so that the student
Next we have Akriti Pandey, and her topic is humor in education. Give a huge round of applause for Akriti Pandey. Akriti, humor is one of the best ways teachers can develop a positive and solid relationship with students. Humor helps teachers and students to establish a rapport with one another. The ability to see the frailties of human nature, to be able to laugh at oneself and not to take oneself too seriously. And it's perfectly okay if you believe you're not funny. Humor is not just about cracking joke or laughing together. It's an attitude. You don't have to be funny to be humorous, right? Let's learn some more aspects from you on the humor in education.
Thank you so much. A well-developed sense of humor is the goal that adds strength to your steps as you walk through the tightrope of your life. Sense of humor is a great thing, a saving thing after all. The minute it crops up, all our hardness is healed. All our irritations and resentment flit away, and the sunny spirit takes its place. With these, a very warm and pleasant good morning to everyone present over here. I, Akriti Pandey, is proud, and today I'm going to talk about humor in education. Now, you all might be thinking that this is ridiculous. I mean, after all, schools are serious places, and education, a serious process. But the problem with thinking that schools are always serious is that they are not. If you take a walk through any school, you'll hear laughter in the hallways. You'll hear it in the classrooms, don't you? Because I do. And you will even hear it in the teacher's lounge. Yet, humor is almost never discussed. Usually, we find students in maths, physics, chemistry classes slouched in their chairs, looking in the direction of the teacher. Some students are cross-eyed with bad expression on their faces. As we keep surveying the room, we find students on the verge of nodding off who are completely unabsorbed. Well, why do you think this happens? Because humor is not getting the academic attention it deserves. Students in today's time is swimming in vast pool of dense theory in theoretical density. They don't laugh enough, and they don't give enough time to let their mind frolic. And I guess that's what called being a professional student, isn't it? Now, here is where the need of humor begins. अगर हम लाइफ को ध्यान से देखेंगे तो बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है लाइफ, किसी और की नहीं, अपनी खुद की, अंदर भी बाहर भी, अनलिमिटेड कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स, और इन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स से बाहर निकलने का जो सबसे आसान और सबसे नेचुरल तरीका है वो है सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर। जब हम हंसते हैं तो हम एक्सपैंड करते हैं, और वहीं जब हम स्ट्रेस लेते हैं तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर जाते हैं। और कॉन्ट्रैक्शन बिल्कुल ऐसा होता है जैसे किसी ने आपको एक केज में लॉक कर दिया। अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारा आज का एजुकेशन सिस्टम भी हमें इसी केज में बंद करता जाता है, और इस केज से निकलने का शॉर्टकट दैट इज सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर। Sense of humor is nothing but a must-have. In today's overworked, underappreciated, stress-filled, sleep-deprived culture, humor is a necessity because it gets people to listen. It increases long-term memory retention. improves understanding, aids in learning, helps communicate messages. It also increases group cohesiveness, reduces status differential, diffuses conflicts, builds trust, and brings people closer together. It even does this stuff. And I didn't make this up. It's all backed up by researches, case studies, and real-life examples. Humor is not a bad thing. Is there anyone here who doesn't like to laugh? Anyone that's like, no, I hate the feeling of joy in my body. Please keep that away from me. No. People think of humor as a nice to have. जब हम सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर का इस्तेमाल अपनी डेली लाइफ में करते हैं, तो जो ये हम अपनी मी सेंटेड लाइफ जी रहे हैं, जिसमें एंटैंगल्ड है, बुरे तरीके से 24 घंटे क्या आप अपने मी रिलेटेड थॉट्स में एंटैंगल नहीं हो? मैंने ये क्या कर दिया? मुझसे ये क्या हो गया? मुझे ये करना है। हम इसी बबल में बंद हैं। हम देख ही नहीं पाते दुनिया क्या है, यूनिवर्स क्या है। बस जी रहे होते हैं अपने बबल में, उसे प्रोटेक्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे होते हैं। अब एक टाइम आता है जब ये बबल फट जाता है और तब हम स्टार्ट करते हैं दुनिया को ऑब्जर्व करना। हम कुछ सीखते हैं, कुछ सिखाते हैं, हंसते हैं, और ये होता है सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर का सही यूज। Now let's question, why is humor needed in education? Most people think that humor and education are the opposite ends of the spectrum. They think if study is the brain, then humor are the toes. But in reality, we need to bring both of them together in order to take over the world. Most people think that study and humor don't have a connection, but it's important because it helps your message stick out and ask people to stop and pay attention. Just by making simple jokes, our brain starts making connections, and in this process, it releases a chemical called serotonin, which not only increases our focus but also improves our brain power. Not only does humor generate divergent thinking, but also it sparks student recall long after the group session is over. And like me, most of us are concerned about our future. So, in a study put on by Harvard Business Review, it was found that the executives who use humor at work are more
रुक जा बेटा।
So, Akriti, what do you think are the reasons that students don't pay attention in their classes?
Well, thank you for your question. But I think it is the reason that students don't pay attention in their classes because classes are following the same curriculum, they are teaching the same old stuff in a very boring manner. That is why. And if we start including bits of humor in our classes, then I think that students will also pay attention. As I would like to take an example here. जब टीचर को पढ़ाना होता है तो काफी बच्चों का इंटरेस्ट नहीं होता है, लेकिन क्या कहते हैं कि टीचर जब अपने क्लास में कुछ कहानियां पढ़ाने लगता है तो सब बहुत बच्चे बहुत अटेंटिवली होकर सुनते हैं, तो कहानी बताने के जो पढ़ाने लगते हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली अगर हम दोनों चीजों को एक बैलेंस में मिक्स कर देते और तब पढ़ाएं तो आगे से उसका इम्पैक्ट बहुत ही पावरफुल होने वाला है। थैंक यू।
रहने दो बद्री नारे से
I think education and college study is not easy. And you said that we should have fun in study. So I think, and I want to have fun in studies. Should we have fun in studies in schools, not serious studies? Well, by saying that we should have fun in classes, I don't mean that it's all about telling jokes during the study session. It's also about teaching. What I think is that there must be a good balance between humor and studies. It should follow the 80-20 rule, where there is 80% of study going on in the classes and only bits or 20% of the humor that the teacher uses to just grab the attention of the student, not more than that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Akriti. It was indeed a great presentation. Give a huge round of applause for Akriti.
हमको आने दो। हमको यही तुम्हारा कहना है, इसको फॉलो कर दो। देख
Next presentation we have with us Siddhika. Her topic is birthday will become a boss. Give a huge round of applause for Siddhika. We have us with right now Siddhika, and her topic is one day will become a boss. Always remember. Becoming a boss or a leader often involves gaining experience, developing skills, and working your way in a career or business. So, Siddhika, what are your views on one day to become a boss? Always remember, if God is shaking your nest, it means He is giving you a chance. He is giving you a chance to rule, to fly, and to become a boss. With these lines, I, Siddhika Gupta from class 8, wish
he got rejected with a heavy heart. He was just walking on the highway, and then he saw a dhaba. He asked the dhaba owner, "May I have any work?" The dhaba owner hired him happily. Although the dhaba was on the highway, the dhaba's schedule was very busy. Even he didn't get time to sleep. But he was rejected from the interview because he didn't know English. So whenever he get time, he used to see English news channels. एक जज्बा सा जग गया उनके अंदर कि हाँ मैं एक दिन इंग्लिश सीखूंगा और इसी कंपनी का एग्जीक्यूटिव बनूंगा. And that's the seed in Sutishanu. Then he tried and he was walking by a road when he saw a man had put a canopy and selling jobs. What? Selling jobs? Yes, he was selling jobs. He asked, "कि भाई साहब आप नौकरियां बेच रहे हो?" उस आदमी ने कहा कि हाँ जी हम नौकरियां बेच रहे हैं. आपको 5 रुपए देने हैं और नौकरियां ले जानी है. आपको ये नौकरियां आंध्र प्रदेश में मिलेंगी. He got too much excited and suddenly by the job, the form he bought by giving 500 rupees. And he got to know that he was frauded when he was arrived on the Andhra Pradesh station. He was frauded all over because how can anyone buy a job? We get a job by our own hard work. Can't anyone buy a job with money? Can't anyone buy success with money? No, he was frauded. He was sitting with a heavy heart on the Andhra Pradesh station. Then he saw some students picking up peanuts. He asked the children that how much money do you earn per day from this? They said that we earn 250 to about 300 from this. He started collecting dumps. Can you believe? He started collecting dumps and collected that money, and with his great zeal he started taking coaching of English speaking. With a lot of hard work, when he started taking coaching of English speaking, he got a fluency and applied for the call center executive job. And what you believe? He got the job and became the executive of that company. From that he was rejected. Yes, with his hard work, he became the boss of the company. But his struggle didn't stop there. He got the phone call of his father. His father told him, "अरे बेटा सतीश तुम घर आ जाओ. तुम्हारी माँ को हार्ट अटैक का दौरा आया है. तुम घर आ जाओ." But how can Satish come? Although there was not even 1 month completed of his job. So he made an excuse and told to his father that I will come in the festival of Holi. But he didn't even came in that festival. He came after 1 year, and the villagers who said that to his father that तुम्हारा लड़का तो भाग गया होगा या कहीं मर गया होगा, they were saying that देखो फौजदार का लड़का आया है. His father's name was Fauzdar, and they were probably saying that देखो फौजदार का लड़का आया है. Even you can find that boss in yourself, but the time is to find your boss in your inner soul. Okay, I want to tell you, where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. जहाँ चाह है वहाँ राह है. It's your wish, what you have to do. If there is dedication and hard work towards you, you will definitely become a boss in your life. No one can stop you. Yes. But कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हम कामयाबी के बहुत नजदीक होते हैं, काफी नजदीक होते हैं, लेकिन फिर हमारे दिमाग कहता है हमसे कि बस अब रुक जाओ भाई, अब हमसे ना हो पाएगा. And that time you stop. But even if you don't know how much close are you to the success, even if you don't know, आपको कभी-कभी अगर आपके सर में दर्द होता है तो आपको एक सिर दर्द की दवाई खानी है और वापस काम पे निकलना है. That's the quality of a real boss. आपके अंदर क्या चल रहा है, आपको ये किसी को जानने नहीं देना है कि आपके अंदर कितनी भावनाओं का भंवर चल रहा है, कितनी भावनाओं
Any questions from your side for Siddhika?
रुक जाओ हर्ष, हर्ष रुक जाओ.
What happens if everyone become boss?
Everyone, I think everyone can become a boss because क्योंकि एक जज्बा होना चाहिए सबके अंदर, अपने आप में सबके में एक बॉस होता है. बस कुछ लोग उसे समझ लेते हैं और कामयाब हो जाते हैं, और कहीं कुछ लोग नहीं समझ पाते क्योंकि उनको आलस अपना दिखता है. वो कहते हैं ना, आलस से कुट विद्या, तो वही उनके एक माइनस पॉइंट होता है. वो बस अपने अंदर के बॉस को अपनी ग्रेट सील से डिस्कवर नहीं कर पाते हैं. एंड दैट्स द पॉइंट.
Thank you. What is the difference between leader or boss?
Listen, I'm not talking here about the real boss. You didn't understand the matter. I'm talking about the boss in our own life. In our own life, we have to become the boss. I'm not talking about here the boss of a company or anything.
We're talking about being the boss of our own life, but what about the teenagers who are forced by their parents? How can they be a boss for their own life?
They're forced by their parents because listen, sometimes they're forced by their parents, but they have to discover their own inner boss and express their feelings towards their parents. If the matter is different, when their parents will listen his or her wishes, that of which matter they have to become the boss in his or her life, definitely he will be or she will be successful. But if their parents will force them to become anything or didn't become the boss of their own life, so their life will be, I think, in a pressure, in a weighted their life, they will feel very heavy-hearted. So,
Thank you. When we inculcate the leadership qualities, how can we control the overconfidence?
you can't understand, I'm not talking here about the leadership quality. There is not leadership and becoming a boss and ourselves is different things, are different things. Leadership is different and becoming a boss in our own life is different.
Well, there's common saying that boss is always right. What is your opinion about this?
Listen, not every boss is right because some boss understand the capacity of their employees, that how their employees, at the level of their employees they can work, the level of their employees at which they can work. But some bosses wanted to increase their company level, wanted to increase the reputation of their company. So that's why not every boss is always right, but the majority is that many bosses loads burden on their employees, but not every.
Thank you.
So, Siddhika, can you tell me the real meaning of boss, please?
The real meaning of, listen, there are two types of boss. One is boss of the company. He manages the working of a company. And the second boss is your inner soul. It is in your inner soul. But when you discover
We have with us Alia right now, and the topic is competitiveness among students in education. Alia, the biggest advantage in involving in the competition is that it prepares kids for real life scenarios. The real life situation is providing different knowledge apart from education, such as it involves creating the best decision-making process and approaching for involvement for different curriculum activities. What are your views that is there competitiveness among students in education?
Yes, I think for sure that there is a competitiveness in education in school. That's why I chose this topic to come apart from here and just spoke on this. So, I'm Alia from Nurse National Academy, Kushmi Branch, 11th grader, and I'm very privileged to be here on the finals of symposium. Respected teachers, principals, and very much respected chairman sir for giving this opportunity. Before starting, I would like to tell what is competitiveness in education. So, before the conclusion, I let you know that is it good or bad. So, competitiveness in school is an issue that teachers and parents feel very strong about. Some might say that competition is bad as it affects self-esteem or it makes worries about the students about the school education. And on the other hand, there would be some kind of mentality people too who would think that it is essential, it is crucial, and it helps them in their education. But if you look closely and you observe closely, you'll get to know that school competition has both good and bad sides. So let us first see what the good sides of competition means, the benefits of competition. So, in the benefits of competition, the first point is competition makes people work together. It might sound very odd to someone of you, but I'd like to mention, in this era and time of social media and growing individualism, children are giving less time to get talk to each other and get along with each other. Competition is something which gives them this opportunity to grow that alongness, to be with each other, as long as they're not mean. I mean, they're not developing that jealousy from each other. Till that point, if that mean feeling, I would say, or that jealousy comes, it's the destruction starts from their point. So the next point that I move here is competition helps you control your feelings. This is something that I think it is a very good part of competition. That helps you control your feelings. With a very good guidance, children get to know that how you acted or reacted, what was your response when you're feeling very much of sad and upset emotions, when you're feeling distraught. This helps students to build up their strong emotions, their strong emotional intelligence, and having in hand of their in charge of your feelings. When you're in charge cause children to feel inferior. Children may develop here a low self-esteem as they feel like their competitors are very tough or they doesn't stand somewhere in their point, and they can feel that they are worthless or maybe they shouldn't be a part of it, and they can start feeling inferior. They start getting that self-hatred towards their own self and can lead to hatred and avoidance too, as we have this mentality that winning is everything, or I have to win at every cost. This mentality somewhere I don't think that is good, because it's not necessary that if you win, then only you learn things. We are here with Symposium and we are learning a lot of stuff over here. It doesn't matter who is going to win, but everyone is learning something and taking something to the future and building. So that mentality of winning is not necessary, I would say. Let's move to build a healthy competition. Here is a quote given: unhealthy competition brings frustration, but healthy preparation brings satisfaction. With this, let's move to the first point. Encourage the students to compete against themselves. It's not necessary that you have to dominate others or you have to come above every person. It could also mean to give or talk your personal best. To compete with yourself every day, you have to be the better version of your every that you want to build. That is something that can build a healthy competition of giving your best and focusing on your own progress. Second thing I'll say, transparency or being transparent about competition and performance. What this means. We always notice who has won, but not by how much or what they did to win. Okay, so with this mentality, I think the learners should be more transparent about what and how they did the things, so they get to know how much close they are to achieve their goal or how much they need to work on. They get to understand that how much they need to put and work hard for it and achieve to be the near of their success. Let's see the other side. Okay, so I would say, give an example. Like take an example of taking risks. This was a good side of the competition. Taking a somewhere to give an example. For example, in education, if we say, trying new learning skills and new techniques like. Many of you students who would be here would have taken the risk of coming up to such a big stage as I was taking this. But we have got to explore so much that what talents we have in ourselves and what confidence we have. So taking risks will also be a beneficial thing in a competition. For example, a chef. Why a chef is called chef? Because he thinks in a very innovative and creative manner. His dishes are not something that normal home cook delivers. He thinks out of the box and he just combines different combos of foods, and that presentation, that innovation, he takes little risk every time. That's why he's called a chef and gets a Michelin star award that will deserves. Before concluding, I'd like to say this in my presentation, that it is essential to remember that competition is neither all good nor all bad. Thus, students should not feel that they have to be best at everything. It's humanly not possible to be great and best at everything and bring your excellence. It's all about learning that we should be more focusing on, because our life is all about winning and losing and games. But learning is something which will help on every other step that we are going to take. That lesson will benefit in that other upcoming events that we're going to have. So, before concluding or ending my presentation, I have here a beautiful quote that I will decode. It says, next presentation, next slide. I'm in competition with no. I have no desire to play the game of being better than anyone. I'm simply trying to be better than the person I was yesterday. This simply means that I have because the evil that lives inside us, and evil is no good for anyone, I would say. So, with this, I would like to end up my presentation. Thank you.
Alia, what do you think? What competition teaches us?
So, I think the competition teaches us the reality, the harsh reality of our life. Competition can be taken into aspects, I can say, as unhealthy and healthy competition. The person who is having an unhealthy mindset would only think that I have to win it at any cost. Although winning is also a part of it, and it's necessary. Everyone is there to win or be at the top of the class. But I think it's become unhealthy because that mentality would let someone to not just push themselves out of what that bubble street they have created to think. And I would say that would build someone a very unhealthy competition with others, where they cannot get along with their other competitors and learn the things in the middle.
Can you tell me few ways to encourage competition?
The few ways to encourage competition, if I talk on academic level or school level, by giving like rewards and the all stuff that we get, the small rewards, that appreciation is something that builds a healthy competition and encourage a competition. Because competition is everything about learning, I would say. Of course, it builds a competition where everyone is competing, but the learning process is something that we need to more focus on.
Thank you so much, Alia. Any questions from your side to Alia? Her topic is competitiveness among students.
Your topic was all about competition among students, but don't you think due to competition, students are losing self-worth?
I think because of competition, it has both the partial answers, I would say. Because competition somewhere where students, if taken in a positive manner, they could learn from it, and I think they would not get hurt and lose their self-worth. But if there are oversensitive students are there who take it to their heart, I would say, their long life, and there has to be long things, and there's full life, half of the life are left to learn around this stuff. So I would say the students who lose their self-worth should realize that this is not the end of the path. And there are more opportunities they'll get, and self-worth is something that develops from inside. That is created from our inner self, and if we believe in ourselves that we are doing something great, we are learning, then I don't think that they lose their self-worth. Thank you.
You mentioned that competition can make a student feel disappointed. So how can we give out that this failure feeling if we fail or lose to gain success in the competition?
Can you repeat it again?
You mentioned that competition can make a student feel disappointed. So how can we give out by this failure feeling if we fail or lose to gain success in any competition?
The failure feeling develops from, of course, the students feel disappointed when they have put their lot of efforts and worked hard for it. But I think that failure could be removed with that positive thinking that there all other competitors are also there who would think in the same way. The emotions that I'm feeling right now, maybe the other competitor could also be feeling that. So failure is something which I would say it's all about the mindset. Thank you very much.
Okay, so my question from you is, how does competitiveness affect the academic performance of the student?
Competitiveness affect in the education as when we focus more on just getting that perfect score that we talk about. Nobody is perfect, of course, like everyone has their different skills and thing. Like maybe I could be good at cooking, at painting, at
emotional stuffs that need emotional balance. You know, like cooking and painting are something that emotionally done. Others could be good in like learning stuffs which need that brain power more. So I could say that competitiveness in education affects students if they are taking it in a very unhealthy manner of defeating others. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Can you please tell me, is there any difference between competitiveness and competition? As you're using both the words competitiveness as well as competition.
No, there's no difference. Competitiveness means where a big group of competition is holding, like you can see in the suppose. That is competitiveness among various persons. Competition is something that we can say to any individual person, maybe can use in both the aspects. So I think that's the same meaning of competitiveness and competition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You said that competition has a bad effect on students. You are in a competition yourself, so if you win, are you going to give your position to someone else just because it will have a bad effect on that person?
Just to ask this question, I would like to clear this that I mentioned that competition is neither all good nor all bad. It has both the aspects. So I would say that if anyone is winning or having that opportunity to win or giving that prize, they would like to share it, of course. But I didn't mention only about the bad sides of the competition. I also mentioned the benefits and the good sides too.
Wait.
In a competition, one wins, so one loses. So what are your views? That is winning always necessary?
No, I don't think winning is always necessary. It is a part of a competition, but I think learning is more necessary. We learn a lot of stuff over here. On the second round of symposium, I think we learned a lot in the first round itself. So winning is not something that is the only option. If I don't win today, maybe I'm not that much sad because I have learned a lot and that will help me in the future. That lessons that I have learned and what not mistakes to do in future, that will help me. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Alia. It was indeed a great presentation. Next presenter we have is Anshika Pandey, and her topic is gamification
But today, I believe that we don't need to make robots and zombies. Every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm the thing. Please tell me, school, why you treat students like cookie, cutter, frames,
In your presentation, you mentioned about creativity and innovativity. So what is the difference between creativity and innovativity?
Creativity means to show your skills in a different way. And innovativity is that we innovate in ourselves. We show the way that teachers help us with the different creativity skills like memorizing, decision making, critical thinking, and various things.
Thank you.
Anshika, I may ask you how the subjects like physics, chemistry can be taught in a fun way. Well, I think that the subjects like physics, chemistry is totally related to our everyday life. If you are curious to make your subjects fun, then you should be curious to know how the world works. You should relate it to your everyday life and sometimes with different and interesting experiments. Thank you. Are there any advantages of education? Well, in my presentation, I spoke about how boring concepts can be taught and can be implemented in a fun learning. I didn't spoke about the video games or such things, so I don't think, according to me, there is any disadvantage if we use it to implement in a fun learning. Thank you.
Over to you, Tanya, if you have any questions, and then proceed with the next.
Anshika, how can you make gamification in a fun way learning for children, small children?
Well, nice question indeed. अगर मैं इसको एक एग्जाम्पल के थ्रू बताऊं, बचपन में हम सभी राइम्स को पढ़ते ही होंगे। एक बहुत जाना माना राइम है, मछली जल की रानी। अगर टीचर उसे ऐसे पढ़ाए कि देखो बच्चों, ये एक बाउल है, इसमें पानी है और इसमें फिश है, तो बच्चा रिलेट कर सकता है। वो जैसे ही पोएम की फर्स्ट लाइन है, मछली जल की रानी, वो ये देख के समझ सकता है। और जैसे कि पोएम है, मछली जल की रानी है, जीवन उसका पानी, हाथ लगाओ तो डर जाएगी, बाहर निकालो तो मर जाएगी। अगर वो उसे ऐसे समझे कि अगर वो उसे छुए तो वो तो डर जाती है, और अगर वो उसे बाहर निकाले तो वो तड़प तड़प के मर जाती है। I just want to say that अगर हम बच्चों को या स्टूडेंट्स को एक्टिविटीज, एक्ट्स, फन लर्निंग के थ्रू, गेम्स के थ्रू सिखाएं, तो वो चीजें बच्चों को हमेशा याद रहेंगी।
Thank you so much, Anshika. It was indeed a great presentation. Give a huge round of applause for her. Thank you.
Minute.
Next presenter we have Utkarsh Tripathi. His topic is why practical knowledge is important than theoretical knowledge. Give a huge round of applause for Utkarsh. We have Utkarsh Tripathi with us right now. Utkarsh, practical knowledge is often considered more important than theoretical knowledge in many situations, because it allows individuals to apply what they have learned in real-world scenarios. What are your views that why practical knowledge is more important than theoretical knowledge?
Ever try, ever fail, but feel better every time and develop. With these beautiful you some modern subjects which I am keeping you with this generation, and that are fashion, coding, entrepreneurship, media literacy, music and dance. जहाँ तक मुझे लगता है कि हम इस जमाने में रह रहे हैं, जो theoretical knowledge हम पढ़ रहे हैं वो इतनी sufficient नहीं है कि हम अपने फ्यूचर में और सक्सेस अचीव कर सकें। चलिए इन सब्जेक्ट्स के बारे में briefly डिस्कस करते हैं। So next slide. Let us talk about these subjects briefly. Fashion designing. यहाँ पे कितने लोग fashion designing से परिचित हैं? बहुत से लोग इसमें ग्लैमर के लिए भी प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, ओलंपिक्स में आने वाले। कई लोग यहाँ पे आर्टिस्ट भी होंगे। So what basically fashion designing is? So fashion designing is the art of applying design, clothing, aesthetics and its accessories into an art. So क्या आप अगर अपने पेरेंट्स को ये लगे कि फैशन डिजाइनिंग अच्छा कोर्स नहीं है, क्या आप अपना फ्यूचर उसमें कंटिन्यू कर पाएंगे? जहाँ तक मुझे लगता है ऐसा तो नहीं है, और हमारी सोसाइटी में फैशन डिजाइनिंग उतनी फेमस भी नहीं है। नेक्स्ट चीज जो मैं आपको इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहूँगा जो सब्जेक्ट है वो है कोडिंग। जहाँ तक मुझे लगता है कोडिंग से यहाँ बैठे हर एक लोग वाकिफ होंगे। So what actually coding is? Coding is a programming and it is very famous nowadays. But the coding which we are taught, it is of very basic level. क्या वो अगर आप कोडिंग करके खुद उतना अर्न कर सकते हैं कि आप अपनी फीस खुद भर सकें, क्या वो आपके लिए अच्छा नहीं होगा? If you can earn from yourself, you can pay your fees. You are releasing a burden from your parents' head, and that is. But the coding which we are taught in our class nowadays is not of that level that we can express it at any level. The next thing is entrepreneurship and business. Many of us wanted to become an entrepreneur, and itself it is a very proud thing because India is producing highest number of entrepreneurs and unicorns every year. I think most of us know MBA Chalwala. Most of us know about him. He is an entrepreneur. He started his business after doing MBA and he is very famous now. But is entrepreneur and business taught in our schools? No, we are not taught about entrepreneurship and business in our daily lives or school, but it is famous nowadays. Now let us come to the point how theoretical knowledge is not that much applicable in our life than practical knowledge. Now let us talk about visualization. If you are into that theoretical knowledge, it's good, but can you visualize that theoretical knowledge in your practical life? It is not, because when you practice something, you retain that memory and you always try to make it more better than itself. But theoretical knowledge is just a bookish knowledge which you can't apply without practical knowledge. At last, I would like to say that how Knowles is promoting practical knowledge. We are introduced as NESTA, Knowles Entrepreneurship and Skill Development Authority, NIMDA, which is promoting dance and music, NASA, which is promoting athleticism and sports, in which we are promoted for making science models and etc. It is the first step which we had kept into the practical life and practical knowledge. At last, conclusion, I like to say that we can say that theory knowledge is important, but we are living in an era where knowledge and skill implementation is more important in comparison to theory and knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Utkarsh. Any questions from your side for Utkarsh? This topic is, what is more important? Why practical knowledge is important than the theoretical knowledge?
So, if we see that the things which I have mentioned in my presentation are those things which are going to help us in our future, do you think that only studying the theoretical things will help you to lead in success in your future?
No, I don't.
Your parents also know that, and your parents will never stop
What is side effect of too much knowledge?
There is no side effect of too much knowledge. Knowledge is always better. Thank you.
Tell me your views if a student wants to be a business person, but his parents are not allowed because it has risks.
See, everything is having merits and demerits. If your parents are not allowing you to do a business because it is having risk and demerits, it's their thought, and it is our duty to convince them that we are interested and we are having a strong hold in that field.
Utkarsh, I have a question for you. In what fields or profession do you think practical knowledge is more crucial than the theoretical knowledge?
I
And
would
why?
like to explain it with the example. Coding सबको पता है, theoretically strong है coding, लेकिन क्या वो आप real life में वो bugs जो हम coding में देखते हैं वो आप face करें, आपकी theory वहाँ पे काम ना आए, यहाँ पे तो आपकी practical knowledge theory के ऊपर पूरी तरीके से आगे बढ़ जाती है. To here we can say that theoretical knowledge is better in every field, but practical knowledge is very crucial than theoretical knowledge in each and every field.
Thank you so much, Utkarsh. Give a huge round of applause for him. May I now request sir to come and address the gathering. Give a huge round of applause for him.
काफी देर तक हम लोग बच्चों ने प्रेजेंट किया है, इंग्लिश से ज्यादा रहा, तो थोड़ा सा हिंदी में हम बोल लेते हैं, हमको थोड़ा सा सहज लगेगा और बातें वही अच्छी होती है जो बोलने में सहज लगे। सबसे पहले हम धन्यवाद देना चाहेंगे इस पूर्वांचल के या उत्तर प्रदेश के बड़े हिस्से के शिक्षा जगत के एक बड़े व्यक्तित्व के मालिक डॉक्टर संजय त्रिपाठी जी, जिन्होंने एक तरीके से शिक्षा में नवाचार और शिक्षा के विकास के लिए अलग तरीके से काम किया है। लगातार हम लोगों की बातें होती रहती हैं और जो इनोवेशन है उनका अपने स्तर का है, और आज तो बातचीत में उन्होंने जो जिस प्रकार से स्टडी के माध्यम से अपनी बातों को विशेष तौर पर रखा वो अद्भुत लगा। खास बात ये भी बताना चाहेंगे कि काफी हद तक बातें वही थी जो नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में रही, और उसी के इर्द गिर्द ये हमारा आज का सिंपोजियम का जो ये आयोजन है वो भी है। हम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहेंगे प्रोफेसर अजय शुक्ला जी, जो हमारे DTU में हिंदी विभाग अंग्रेजी विभाग के हेड ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट हैं। तो जो यहाँ पे बच्चों ने जो प्रेजेंटेशन दिया उसके साथ साथ एक बात और है, जो यहाँ पे टॉपिक लेकर के बच्चे आए उसमें एक बात दिखाई दे रही है कि जिस तरीके से हमारा एजुकेशन सिस्टम आगे बढ़ रहा है और जो हमारे चैलेंजेस हैं उसको लेकर के बच्चों ने अपनी बात रखी। खासतौर पे जो एक महत्वपूर्ण बात है कि हम हर स्टेज में बच्चों को उनके स्किल के आधार पर, उनके एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के आधार पर एजुकेशन को डेवलप करें, ये बात खुल कर के आई। कुछ बच्चे क्लासेस तो सबके डिफाइन है, आई थिंक 8 to 12 के बच्चे हैं, लेकिन मुझे आश्चर्य हुआ कि जिस प्रकार से बच्चों ने अपने जो निर्धारित टॉपिक थे उस पर अपने विचार रखे। कुछ का सब्जेक्ट तो बहुत इजी था जिसमें कि आराम से बातें हो सकती थी, लेकिन कुछ ऐसे टॉपिक रहे जो निश्चित तौर पर एक टास्क की तरह से थे, लेकिन बच्चों ने उसको बड़े खूबसूरती से रखा। इसके लिए उन बच्चों को और खासतौर पे जो उनके मेंटर हैं उनको बधाई देना चाहिए, बहुत अच्छा लगा। अब एजुकेशन सिस्टम में हम बात कर सकते हैं, कैरियर अभी डॉक्टर साहब ने एक पिछले प्रोग्राम का वीडियो दिखाया। एक्चुअली जो हमारा क्लासरूम है वो हमारे टोटल पर्सनालिटी का टोटल डेवलपमेंट, एग्रीगेट डेवलपमेंट की बात करता है। और हमारा जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है हम कहीं न कहीं एग्रीगेट में जाने की कोशिश करते हैं। अब तो ये बार-बार चूंकि हम लोग अपनी लेवल के बच्चों के साथ शिक्षा से जुड़े हैं कि अगर जिंदगी जी जाए तो वो भी टोटलिटी में जिया जाए, और पढ़ाई हो, करियर हो, उसे भी टोटलिटी में। हम इसी तरह से अपने पर्सनालिटी को भी डेवलप करें तो फुल स्विंग में पूरे टोटल तरीके से एग्रीगेट लाइफ में हम अगर आगे बढ़ाएंगे तो निश्चित तौर पे आगे बढ़ेंगे। आज दौर बड़ा विचित्र तरीके से ट्रांजेक्शन फील्ड चल रहा है। पहले हम लोग देखिए क्रिकेट का मौसम चल रहा है, पहले टेस्ट मैच होता था, बाद में वनडे आया, 2020 आया। ये जो हमारी जनरेशन है ये रील्स वाली जनरेशन है। 30 सेकंड में सब कुछ। आप बताइए कौन से डेवलपमेंट की बात हम 30 सेकंड में करेंगे? हर व्यक्ति को जरूरी है। बस मेरा ये कहना है कि अपने लक्ष्य के प्रति, अपने गोल के प्रति ईमानदार रहें, हड़बड़ी में नहीं, थोड़ी देर ठहरें, सोचें। अगर आप एग्जामिनेशन देने जाते हैं तुरंत फिर उठाया और खड़ा शुरू हो गए, निश्चित तौर पे गलती की संभावना रहेगी। ये रील्स वाला दौर है, लेकिन जरा सा ठहरिए, सोचिए और उसके बाद उस पर कंसंट्रेट होकर काम करिए। निश्चित तौर पे आप सफल होंगे। क्योंकि बच्चों को टाइम स्लॉट जो दिया गया है, लंबा लंबा दिया गया है, तो हम बहुत लंबा तुम भी नहीं बोलेंगे और तुरंत हम मंच से जाते हैं। पुनः बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। और खास तौर पर डॉक्टर साहब को एक बार फिर से बताइए कि इन्होंने नया इनोवेटिव आइडिया हमारे पूरे नवल्स के जो मैनेजिंग उसके हमारे जो कोऑर्डिनेटर्स हैं उनकी भी सोच बहुत ही शानदार रही है। और हम तो इसलिए चले आए कि हमारा भी विद्यालय काफी बड़ा है, बहुत ज्यादा बच्चे हैं, यहाँ से जरूर कुछ लेके जाएंगे और इनोवेशन आप ही का इनोवेशन जाके अप्लाई करेंगे। नॉवल्स तो नहीं, लेकिन नॉवल्स के तरीके से हम लोग समाज को विकसित करने का प्रयास करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir. Give a huge round of applause, sir. The next presenter we have with us is Arshi Fatima, and the topic is life skills should be included in the school syllabus. Give a huge round of applause for her. We have